Right, Ryan, for the last time, that is the cafetiere. That is the customer's bog brush. The coffee goes in the cafetiere. Let's not make that same mistake again, mate, all right?
Oh, soz.
Hello, everybody. I hope you're well. Right then, concrete pad time. Let's get it started. Right then, what we're trying to achieve here then, from the dirt up, 150ml of MOT Type 1 compacted. And it's very important, it's MOT Type 1. It's the good stuff in terms of hardcore. And if the building inspector sees anything less than that, any recycled stuff is cheaper, so it is tempting, but don't do it. They might turn a nose up at it and you'll be in a bit of trouble. So 150ml of MOT Type 1, whackered, nice and flat, beautiful. On top of that then we're going to put a layer of building sand which will act as a cushion towards our 1200 gauge membrane. We'll go into a little bit more detail into that as the video progresses, and I'll tell you why I haven't incorporated it into our measurements here. On top of that then is 150ml of your concrete, then 100ml of your PIR insulation. You can use an inferior one, a jab light polystyrene type, but that has to be thicker, so stay away from that, it's not as good anyway. And on top of that is 60ml of our liquid screed. Now, you can do this a slightly different way. If you're having underfloor heating, this is the way to do it, because then your underfloor heating pipes, if it's a wet system, will go straight on top of that insulation, that foil-backed insulation, and any heat that generates will then reflect straight back up into the room. We're not having underfloor heating here, so in theory we could put the insulation under the concrete and then be done with it. There's nothing wrong with that, I don't believe, in terms of building regs, but I'm not going to do that. I think that the insulation is going to be far more effective the higher up it is towards the surface. Don't know, what do you think? But there we go. So that's what we're trying to do there then. This is what we're trying to achieve, what we are going to achieve. And this is the measurements that you need to know whilst you're digging out, because that ground needs to be lowered down enough to incorporate and build it back up to this. If you don't do it, you're digging out by hand. What a nightmare that is. Anyway, let's crack on. It's all right, ain't it? Beautiful. There we go, 6 tonne, sprinkled round, nice and even, and then whacked down with an inch of its life by this relic. Now this one over here, look, on the right. They don't make them like this anymore, I've been told. And once it's gone, by all accounts, so the repairman tells me, it has gone, because I don't make the parts. Unless you know of any difference, let me know, because it's a good one. It's nice and heavy, and it does the job. So there we have it. So we are now ready for our couple of tonne of building sand over there to act as our cushion. We'll get that down and then I'll explain why. It's a little bit of a nonsense, but there we have it. Ooh, a bit of sunshine, blue in the sky, and sand beneath your feet. You could be anywhere, couldn't you? Beautiful. Right then, a smattering of building sand, and this is to act, as I said before, as a cushion. So when the membrane goes down and then your concrete on top, the weight of said concrete or whatever it is you're going to put on it doesn't pierce the membrane. However, the membrane, it's good stuff, it's fairly thick, so the cost and the labour to do this is a bit silly really, because you saw how flat we can manage to get the hardcore. If you're not bothered about it really, you can just double up on the membrane, couldn't you, and save all this. I don't know, what do you reckon? In my experience, that membrane is that good that it's okay in terms of working on it temporarily whilst you're putting the concrete in. You drop anything on it, it's going to go through anyway, regardless of what you put under it. Put a crash mat under it, that's going to happen. So anyway, we're ready for the membrane. Let's get it down. Let's get it concreted. All sorted. I'll show you in a second. Just a quick chat about quantities if you're going to do this and order it yourself. Concrete comes in cubic metres, really easy to do that. I'm sure you know it, but it's width times length times depth. Do it all in metres. So if it's 6 inches deep, it's 0.15, not 1 something. Very easy to get that wrong, trust me. But if you order a concrete company, that you just have what you need and then it'll take it away. Easy, and that's what most of them do nowadays anyway, so you can't really go wrong with that. But the hardcore is ordered and delivered in tons. So if you work out your cubic meterage, double it, and that's a rule of thumb for ordering your tonnage. But if it's like 6, if it works out once you've doubled it, it works out like 6.3 or something, just order 6, have a little bit less and make that gap up with the concrete. You know, or if it's 5.8, order the 6 and then you have a little bit too much, not a problem. Just, you know, work it out. I'm sure you can work it out yourself, but yeah, double it and you won't be far wrong at all. Right then, let's have a quick look. What a beautiful job, all concreted in, flattened to an inch of its life, overseen by this fella. Hello, Michael.
Hey.
Here he is, look. Yeah, it's important you get it flat as you possibly can, simply because the insulation sits straight on top of that, big 8x4 sheets of PIR. If there's any big humps in it, it's just, they start to rock, they can snap. The screed can then become unstable above it, so you want it as flat as possible. So take a bit of time with it. And there we have it. At the end of the world, if there's any dips or anything, we can sort that out at a later date. But if we can sort it now, it's done, isn't it? Perfect. Right then, now that that is done, I can start building over here, which we will start now, but feature in next week's episode, as will the reason as to why those blocks are down, because they shouldn't be, or will be explained. Everything that's in today's video you can put into practice for any shed base, garden room, porch, whether you need to go to the extent of the thicknesses, that's completely up to you. But it's all the same principle, and if you do what we've done today, you won't have any problems with it. Also, I've done this video just as a one-er, without going anywhere else around the job, just so in future episodes, when it comes to this stage, I can just relate to this video and move on. Because let's face it, it's a bit boring. And if you've got no intention of putting a base down of any type, and you're this far into the video, fair play to you, fair play. Right then, massive thank you to Mick and Mark. I've got to say thank you, I still want paying. And also my lad, who's made me a lovely cup of tea, just to finish the day off. Right then, until next time, take care.